You are on to the John Mayaki Show. Thank you. It's going to be another exciting episode of the show today. We're glad to have you on the show. Now, the issues for today's discussion are number one, the Nigerian Bar Association Convention matters are rising. A lot of issues are ongoing concerning the NBA convention matters are rising. Okay, we're going to be discussing Nigerians' reaction over the APC's vice presidential hopeful, Kashim Shettima. Nigerians are not happy that he wore a somewhat clothing suit, it's been trending. So there are challenges in the sense that people on Twitter, on social media, they've taken to their handles to say, look, I can do better than Kashim Shettima. We can do it better. Let's teach him how to do it. Even the minister, Professor Skayamo, has also come to say, look, this is the best way to do it. So we're going to be having that discussion. We're going to also be discussing the attempted role swap in a possible Tinubu-Shettima presidency between the economy and security. Yesterday said that Bola Tinubu is good in economy. Bola Tinubu is going to handle the economy while he himself is going to handle security. Don't forget that the president is the grand commander of the armed forces. Don't forget. And so is Shettima telling us that Tinubu, being president, will surrender his authority to him. We'll get to know all of those in this discussion. Another uninspiring outing by Atiku and his social media code shoulder, he got there yesterday, will be discussed. Yesterday some things happened there during the NBA program in Lagos. We'll look at all of those. Peter Obi once again goes statistical. He was. He likes quoting figures. He likes mathematics or arithmetic, if you like. He likes telling you percentages, ratios, bar charts, and he quotes figures. About Nigerians have said no, they need to fact check all those figures. We'll look at that again. And so when we leave that issue, we'll go to the story of the 6.2 billion naira that is said to have been spent on the training of Bauchi youths. What was it used for? To train them on how to repair phones. So when you want to train people, how many of them? Not about they're not to 200, they're not to 150, but you need 6.2 billion naira to train them how to repair phones. That's not interesting. But don't forget too that in the south we also have Tumpolo being given pipeline security. So it needs to safeguard the pipelines so as to avoid oil theft. That is also interesting too. Some people say we need to share from the national cake. If you check how much Tumpolo's contract is and the money spent in repairing a phone, it's about in billions, all in billions of naira. Yeah, and you just ask yourself some questions. Anyway, the controversy surrounding the discovery of a shrine in Edo State is also going to be discussed. Look, in Edo State last week, we understand the police. We saw the video where the police came out to say, look, we have seen 20 mummified bodies in the state, and that is a shrine or not a shrine. The police said it's a shrine, whatever it is. But some guys are saying, no, it's not a shrine. It's a mortuary. But still, look at shrine. Look at where they sacrifice goats, chicken, and to idols over there. People say no, it's meant for protection, to protect themselves. That is quite interesting. I like that type of shrine. Quite nice shrine there. So anyway, Shettima's poor sense of dressing will come first in this discussion. Did you see that dressing? But Kayamo has come to do damage control. Kayamo is trying to do some damage control. And so the vice presidential candidate of the APC, Senator Kashim Shettima's dressing at the Nigerian Bar Association, it was during the annual general conference yesterday. People describe it as awkward dressing. But I'm not too sure if you can use such a word. People have said it's awkward. And a lot of newspapers have reported it that, oh no, Kasim Shettima, you didn't try. In an apparent oversized suit, they said the suit. Have you seen that picture over there? Apparent oversized suit and sneakers to match. The outfit refused to match. Look, Shettima tried, but the outfit didn't match. The outfit refused to match, as the combination is now the talk of town, and even trending on Twitter with a Shettima challenge. He said the event held at Eco Hotel and Suite, Victoria Island, yesterday in Lagos. And so, following the Shettima's outing, he received heavy backlash for his choice of outfit, as his red necktie showed underneath the suit for not unbuttoning when he sat down. People who know how to wear this, they tell you when you sit down, you don't button up. You don't button up. When you sit on suit, you free yourself. I understand the PDP candidate was seen dressing well, and he sat properly. These are etiquettes, dressing etiquettes. The development has now become Shettima challenge on Twitter, and with tweets posting different versions of mimicking Shettima as he appeared yesterday. The pictures are there. You saw the other guy wearing different type of anyway. Research has shown that the name of the sneaker he wore is known as Balenciaga. That is the name of the sneaker he wore, Balenciaga. And we just discovered that it's not meant for people who are not well-to-do. The cost for Balenciaga is about $950 and above. $950 and above. Although you can get cheaper ones $750, but we saw $950 and above. If you have the money, you can get something to wear. Balenciaga is good, but when you wear Balenciaga, you have to be careful if it's going to be on suit, if it's going to be, depending on what you want to use it for. Shettima didn't quite understand how to go about wearing Balenciaga, and the thing backfire. Some people said it's free publicity, free media for him, and that it has even sure is, but that's not true. That's not true. Look, that's not true. Don't go there. So as a way to control the narratives to the advantage of Shettima and to also sway the discussion, the Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, Festus Keyamo, has come out to say, oh no, I'm also going to dress in similar manner, and as Shettima did, putting a face cap on his own in order to garner momentum. It was quite interesting. For us at the John Mayaki Show, both dressing and his speech calls for attention. The speech he made there and his dressing calls for attention. The dressing as comic relief, fine, but his speech, very serious and calls for debate. His speech calls for debate. For his dressing, it's a learning moment for public officers, that when you sit, you must unbutton your jacket. Everybody must learn lesson. Tomorrow, nobody should tell us, oh, no. Look, you need to learn the lesson. Secondly, don't wear formal clothes, for example, suit and tie with sneakers, no matter how expensive. Balenciaga or no Balenciaga, you can't do that. No matter how expensive, you have to maintain decorum. We've also seen guys who wore a one-button suit with lace sneakers, but Shettima wore three-button suit. People say, no, this is no suit, this is a coat. People say it's a coat. Coat? Some other type of suit, the other type of suit that carpenters. I don't know, somebody who suggested that a carpenter must have put that together for Shettima. But I said no now. That is unfair comment on Shettima. But don't forget, this guy is senator, former governors, and you say carpenter put that together. Why? No. I don't want to. Let's not go there. You guys have to be careful. I hear it's obedient people that are doing all of this. But not obedient people didn't ask Shettima to dress that way. Did they? No. Shettima looked, he dressed from the house, family members at home, PAs and everybody, they hail him. That is the problem with psychophancy. When your leader is not doing the right thing, you talk to him. Leader, you can't do this. Oh, leader, you see what you wear. Leader, you joke about it, and the leader will go back and change. We've also seen people who wore body-fitted suit and wear fitted trousers. But I'm told that Shettima's own was a labu. I mean, they call it labu trouser or baggy. In some part of the world, they call it wondo. So, but anyway, Shettima, I hear he belongs to the old school, and so he did an old school thing, and the boys were not happy. Some other commentators say Shettima's outfit barely had any fitted correlation with his body type and was oversized and out of fashion. They say it's unfitted. Some guys want to wear something that is tight in their body, and they want to look smart, they want to look agile, they want to look, Shettima is not, it doesn't belong to that generation. So you guys just pardon him. I think Shettima is simply convenient with what he wore, if you ask me, but forgot what people would think about him. Shettima must know that he needs to be thinking, as he takes care of himself, he needs to also think what people will think about him. We were also told that Shettima has over lengthy necktie instead of a moderate size and length. They say poking underneath his coat. No, they didn't call it suit, they say coat. You guys should just be mild in your word. And they said he wore a coat, and the thing looks like a sword while he was seated. I think the APC vice presidential candidate now understand that there is actually nothing wrong in wearing sneakers on suit, but that the difference is that it has to be the lace sneakers and not the one he wore, which serves a different purpose. Even the minister who tried to control the narrative wore the right sneakers. If you check the minister's sneakers, they were with lace, but he was trying to. In this case, Shettima wore a laceless Balenciaga, a footwear only compatible on trousers and not coat, and as the case may be. So, but Kayamo said no. Look, since they think the issue of Nigeria are 3 buttons and a pair of sneakers and a long tie, let's help them the real issues. Well, you see, why didn't you teach, as for Festus Kayama, why didn't you teach the VP candidates how to dress like the way you were dressing? Why did you ask him and the back pick this call? Up to you. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, my name is Benson. I'm calling from Gwarimpa.
Benson calling from Gwarimpa. You are on to the John Mayaki show. Go ahead with your
Thank you very much, Mayaki. I was listening to your comments about Governor Shettima's, Senator Shettima's dressing. And I have a reservation because what we are facing in this country, it has nothing to do with the mode of dressing of anybody. In fact, that shouldn't have come into, a talk with if we are actually serious in this country. You understand? We all listened to his address yesterday. We saw the quality, what this guy, has in stock. Nobody is talking about that. And we are all going on social media talking about dressing. Is that what the problem we're having in this country? Even you are talking there, yes, it may be, a show, but we need to be realistic. Even when we are making, a comment about an individual. We know where Shettima is coming from. Is it that Shettima cannot afford, even if there's a 1 million tie, he has money to buy it. That is not an issue. Do you understand? And that is not his problem. And the youth that are, posting all this thing around, talking about the dressing is from the carpenter, is that let their father go and dress and see whether he will dress better than Shettima. Even you that you are there, yes, you may wear suits, huh? But I'm telling you, Shettima will buy millions of your suits and you all together. So let's face the reality. Let's say election is coming. Let's talk about the issue. Let's leave all these things we are talking. And it is now, I knew that it will be difficult for Nigeria to move ahead if this is the quality of the youth that we have.
Thank
I
you.
saw a post.
All right.
I saw a post on the Facebook. Somebody posted, even Obama, one of Obama's aides, he was wearing sneakers with suits with tie. Nobody is talking about what you're wearing or what you put on. You understand?
Thank you.
That doesn't matter.
All right.
It is what you have to offer us. Please, let's talk when we are coming on here. Let's talk like somebody that's serious.
Thank
That
you.
really want a solution to our problem. Not coming here and be making a guess somebody wear this. Somebody, all the people that were talking, abusing Shettima, can their father afford what
That's okay.
Shettima
You
can
don't need to
afford
insult
now?
anybody's father. You don't need to insult anybody's father. That's okay. The issue you raise a lot of issues. You cannot determine for Nigerians what to discuss. Shettima is putting himself forward to serve the nation. And so if you must serve the nation, if you are ready to serve the nation, people will discuss you, people will discuss your personality, your quality, your anything. Anybody can take on you and discuss you. Newspapers, reputable newspapers have discussed Shettima's dressing, let alone. You see, when you say he has a lot of money to buy, he can buy me and buy my shoes and my, you can't go there. Shettima can buy me. It's good you have money to buy all these things, but it's also good you know how to dress, you know how to wear them. You don't misappropriate. There is etiquette in everything. There are table manners, there are table etiquette, there are dressing codes. You can't wear babariga and wear this thing on it and tie gele on it, my friend. You can't tie gele on a suit. So you need to get this thing clear. But nevertheless, if you say, let's discuss issues, we are going to see now. Joining me is our in-house analyst, Comrade Idris Zekari. Comrade, how are you doing today?
I'm very fine, thank you. My sincerest apologies for joining a little behind schedule.
No problem.
I've been on for close to 10 minutes. I listened to the caller. I think emotions don't solve problems.
Yeah.
Solutions solve problems.
Yeah.
If it is not important enough, Nigerians will not talk about it.
At all.
And you like you said, you cannot wear gele on top of suits,
no,
and you expect people to talk.
Yes.
People will
talk.
If Nigerian government and if the government of today has given people what to keep them busy, what to talk about, we will probably not be talking about suits. Today, this is what we have to discuss, and we're going to discuss it.
Yes.
The truth is, the vice presidential candidate dressed like that and left his house, wore Balenciaga sneakers on an oversized trouser, on a big suit, and did not even know etiquette well enough to know that when you're sitting with a suit, you have to unbutton your suit. You don't button your suit while you are seated. I only worn suit maybe like 3 times in my life, but I know that when you wear suit, it's not even comfortable to sit down and button your suit. You have to unbutton it. This is the way those who brought suit to us, the white people, envisage that we use it. That is on one hand. And on the second hand, that a man of that stature will dress like that and leave his house, and he has advisors, he has political associates, he has people around him. Nobody is bold enough to tell him that, oh, Ogasa, this one does not fit in today's, in the 21st century, this dressing does not work
at all.
With this trend. It is an aberration. It then means that people around him are scared to tell him the truth. It then means tomorrow if he becomes vice president, if things as little as dressing, they cannot appropriately advise him, it means if he becomes vice president, they will also not appropriately advise him on issues that borders on state. It will be psychopathy. They will deceive him and he will think he's doing well, whereas he's not doing well. I would have expected that by now he would make it clear to the public that, well, maybe he was busy, maybe he had a long day, maybe there was a wardrobe malfunction. I mean, these things happen. There can be a wardrobe malfunction. But for people to come and tell us that dressing is not important, if I decide to wear a pair of boxers and singlet from Lagos to Abuja, I am sure the caller from Guaripa, if I come to his house, he will probably not open his gate for me. That is the thinking, and that's what I thought to be. And there is no rule that said he has to wear his.
Hello, Zachary. Hello. Okay, so there's no rule that says he must wear a suit. Peter Obi was there; he didn't wear a suit. I mean, there are other persons. Yes, Zachary, are you back? Go ahead.
Yes, Peter Obi was there. He didn't need to put on a suit. There was another panelist, I think a presidential candidate too, who also didn't need to put on a suit. He could have also worn what he's comfortable with. But you want to look like 21st century when you are not 21st century. Yes, some wicked will say, if it isn't day, it isn't day. You cannot be what you are not, right? And that is, we should tell ourselves the truth. It is a malfunction of the wardrobe. And normally, if you cannot dress properly, I wonder how you will address the problems of Nigeria.
It was not even Peter Obi people that raised this issue. It was, what is his name? You know him, the PDP guy in the UK. Reno raised this issue. Reno raised the issue.
So it's not even about Peter Obi.
It's not about Obi issue now. But let's leave there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not that people continuously take a bite of the popularity of Peter Obi. So anything that goes wrong, if they are not able to make babies and if they are not able to sexually satisfy their wives, they must have to blame it on somebody and blame it on Peter Obi. Yeah. That is the problem we have now.
I read an article just now in Vanguard where Fanika Ode was advising that they should be careful the way they are going about Peter Obi supporters, that they are everywhere, that his workers, friends, lawyers, professionals, they are obedient, and that the major political parties should be careful, the APC, the PDP should be careful the way they handle Obi issue. And my brother, he's just speaking the fact. He's just speaking the fact. Look, he said if at all they can't win election now, in future they could form a mass movement that will sack the itinerant politicians from work.
The truth is, you cannot hate or insult or wish obedient movement away. That would be living in a fool's paradise. You cannot. They are there. Is it not shocking that today we have a political party that is contesting for first and a second election? That's it. It has nothing. It even has no structure. I am using the language of the established political parties now. And yet, they sleep, wake up, and are persistently worried about the obedient movement. PDP people will attack Peter Obi and his obedient movement. APC people will attack Peter Obi and his obedient movement. In this next election, it has become abundantly clear that it is obedient Labour Party versus PDP and APC combined. If they have a way, I foresee APC and PDP working together. When sworn enemies resolve their differences because of you, then you know that God has finally visited your case.
But the question, will he win the election, is a different matter altogether. Anyway, let us look at the issues canvassed by the same Shettima, Senator Shettima, who said he was going to be handling security while the candidate of the APC will handle the economy. There's a video. Let's watch the video and we'll try to dissect it, please.
Been in the theater of conflict for 18 years. I will lead the troops. My principal is an economic wizard who transformed Lagos into the third largest economy in Africa. He will concentrate on the economy. By God's grace, I will handle the security arm. Not only handle the security arm, I will lead the troops to battle across the length and breadth of this country.
So, Zachary, that video is for me the real issue. The dressing matters, but not as important as this video. Did you hear what he said? Hello? Sorry, Zachary, did you listen to that video?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Worry any and everybody. And again, I am surprised that up to this moment, there is no statement from the PDP, nor is there a statement from the Labour Party and the Obedient Movement. Of course, the PDP has very unintelligent spokesperson. Dino Melaye. Bwala is quite intelligent. I give it to him than the Bwala. The movement, there's no spokesperson at top candidates say that he will focus on security and lead the troops, and the presidential candidate will focus on the economy. It is a reversal of constitutional role as provided by the 1999 Constitution for leaders in this country. The Constitution provided explicitly that the president is the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic. So what Shettima is telling us is that if they win, if that ticket win, the Shettima Tinubu ticket wins, or the Tinubu Shettima ticket wins, he will become commander-in-chief by leading the armed forces against insecurity, whereas the constitutional job as the head of the economic team, the constitutional job of the vice president as the head of the economic management of the country, he will now give to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's another gap. I mean, this one, it has nothing to do with dressing. So you cannot even undress this one. It is a gaffe on his part. It is a poor knowledge of the Constitution upon which he draws power to run as Vice President of the Federal Republic. And this is what you get when the Vice President is representing.
Okay.
Presenting the Black City, right?
Okay.
National Assembly, and is incapable.
You come again, hello Zachary. Hello Zachary. You said this is what you get when what?
No, this is what you get when you put a vice president to function in an occasion where the president wants to function. The NBA convention was meant for presidents. It was not a vice presidential discussion or debate. It was for president. For obvious, the presidential candidate of the APC lives 19 minutes away from the location. And he didn't attend. And Shettima came all the way from Borno, 900 to 1,100 kilometers away to attend that occasion. And that's why he speaks like the president. Otherwise, how do you explain that a vice president is saying that he will focus on the economy, he will focus on security, will lead the armed forces, whereas his boss will focus on the economy? Whereas as though that is what the Constitution says. The Constitution is very clear about the rules. The vice president has the economy, the president is commander-in-chief and supervises every other thing.
On the issue about the proximity of Asiwaju's house to the venue of the event, and that of Shettima, who comes from Borno, but may not have been living in Borno, he may have come in from Abuja. He represented the presidential candidate of the APC, and I think there's no law, there's no convention that says he cannot represent it, isn't it?
No, there is no.
Yeah.
No law that is the BP. Of course, that's why you even have the BP. The BP is to represent the president when he's unavailable.
Yeah.
But looking at it, the presidential candidate stays 19 minutes away from the location. If you are trekking from Asiwaju's house to the location of the NBA convention, you will get there before somebody who is using a Concorde flight from Maiduguri to Lagos or from Abuja to Lagos, you arrive Lagos. And even when you arrive Lagos, you arrive in Ikeja. From Ikeja to the place where that program held yesterday, much which it away from the location of the events.
All right, then. Let's talk to.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Shettima. I'm calling from Central Business District, Abuja.
How are you, sir?
I'm very fine.
You are on to the John Maya contribution, please.
God bless you. I'm not saying it will be subject to discussion. I am not carried away with what comes out of the man. Therefore means that the man is loaded with weight of experience. Looking at what the issue is about governance. Is that about what is our work to the occasion? It's not even rags. To me, there's nothing wrong with what he dress. If a white man had also come to that same occasion and dress the same way Shettima dress, nobody would have made issues. In fact, we would even thought that that is the proper way to go. So there is no issue in it. We should look at what they all discussed in that event. And look at the way and now they will be able to move Nigeria forward. He give it the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Zachary, we need to. You heard what he said. That it is the intelligence, it is the content, it is the what APC and Shettima is bringing to the table that matters, and not what he is wearing. Okay, but I ask people again, maybe they need to listen to this discussion. The first part of this discussion is what he wore, and the second part is the delivery. The delivery is saying that he was going to take care of security, which is the president's role. Now, he was going to give the economy to the president. And the individual is there to watch. So, Zachary, people keep saying it is not what he wore, not what he wore. People keep saying it is what. Now, look at the promise he promised us yesterday that the president, if elected, is not going to be the one in charge of security. It's part of the discussion.
It's part of it. Even when I am very sure that majority of those even commenting now did not hear that part.
They didn't hear that part.
Focused on the dresses.
Yeah.
So they didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
Some of us listened and heard up to that part where he made those comments. Look, we can't wish it away. Shettima is a brilliant.
Very sound.
You cannot take it away from him. Shettima is an intelligent person.
Yeah.
He has worked in the corporate sector. He was a very high-ranking member of staff in Zenith Bank. And that is why it is even more unforgivable that he would dress the way he dressed yesterday to a corporate event. Because he's a man who understands corporate life, corporate politics, and how to behave in a corporate environment. It is either out of disrespect for Nigerians or disrespect for those he was visiting. There is no excuse for it. There is no excuse. Whether Shettima can buy 1 million naira shoe is immaterial here. You were coming to address lawyers, old lawyers, young lawyers, and you dressed in that manner to the podium. It's unacceptable. You could have as well tie a wrapper and put this Igbo cap and come. We can take that. We know you have dressed in a traditional way. You could wear your babariga and come. But if you must wear a suit, you must wear it properly. And these people saying these things now are the ones who will insult our young girls who dressed immodestly, who dress and show their cleavages, their backs and their tummies. These are the same persons who will be unfair to them in criticizing them heavily. It then means that dressing matters.
It matters.
A man is dressed the way he is dressed.
Yes.
So how can you tell me that dressing does not matter? And of course, I do not have a microscope to look into a man's brain to know what is inside. The first thing I see when a man is standing before me is the way he is dressed. And if the dressing does not conform, if the dressing looks below standard, or if the dressing looks like that of a mad person, chances are that whatever that person says might just be the intelligent saying is from a mad person. So we should not deceive ourselves. It's something that Shettima has to correct, and I'm hoping that subsequently when he goes out, he will learn from this.
Okay, now let's discuss the PDP candidate. What is your take on his outing there yesterday?
again, like Shettima, like Peter Obi, and like himself, he had a fair outing. He was strictly able to avoid controversies, even when himself also committed a fashion blunder by sitting down with his suit buttoned. It's a blunder on his part, but we won't talk too much about it now, because at least he didn't wear a Balenciaga shoe. His presentation was apt, was straight to the point, and seems to provide solutions. However, one thing again that is unique about the PDP presidential candidate is the fact that he has somehow managed to stay away from controversy. I don't know how he manages to do it. It is a classical behavior of con artists who stay away from, they don't put a step wrong. I am not saying he is a con artist, but you see that his steps are measured at every step of the way. It is uninspiring, but it is effective. Again, yesterday I said a lot, but nobody can hold on to one thing from what Paul has said. At least we have something to discuss in Shettima. We have something to discuss in Peter Obi that brought out statistics upon statistics again. But there's nothing to hold on to in the article conversation. And that is what the PDP people need to work on. Their campaign so far has been uninspiring, and it seems it's gradually losing steam. It's time for them to wake up. Just like the Kwankwaso campaign. Kwankwaso was not there totally, and I am aware that he got an invitation to also attend that event.
What about
again? It was statistics upon statistics, and we'll have to go and verify. And people are now saying that Peter Obi is dwelling more on the problem than preferring solutions.
Okay.
But as he's identifying the problems, he's also preparing solutions to the problem and giving practical ways we can move from the problems to the solutions. He has not been doing that well enough. I hope that going forward he begins to do that.
Okay. Now we will take a look at the video of the shrine that emerged from Edo State. While we take a look at that video, we'll be able to dissect. People say, oh, this is a shrine. People say, no, it's a mosque. We need to properly look at it because it's generating controversy all around. Mr. Zakari, have you seen that video?
Yes, I watched it, I think, a few days ago. It was a very disturbing video, but there are aspects to it that I think we will begin to unbundle or unpack in this program. First is that purportedly members of the local vigilante discovered a shrine that has dead bodies in it, up to 20. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Gideon Mayaki Show.
This is Gideon Mayaki Show. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Abuja. My name is Idris Momo.
All right. Contribution.
I want to contribute on the issue of Shettima dressing code at the NBA conference yesterday.
Yes.
Nigerians divert attention so much. The issue of dressing it was not a fashion parade. They should have keyed into the statement. They should have listened to what he came to deliver. A man, an intellectual like Shettima, he was there and spoke about the problems. He spoke about what Asuwaji did in Lagos, and he also spoke about what he did in Borno. So I was expecting Atiku and Peter Obi to speak from antecedent. Obi was the former governor of Anambra State for 8 years. I was expecting him to talk about his own achievement, his own antecedent as a governor in Anambra State. Atiku was one of the government to speak more how he assisted Obasanjo to build a greater nation for us. As I said, his contribution to Obasanjo administration as a vice president is input. Those are the things we are supposed to hear. Why we Nigeria debated from the victim and start talking about things that are not that let me say irrelevant. So Shettima dressing was not the issue. It was only a passion parade, and if they should check very well, the latest dressing code all over the world, you can be on suit and be on canvas. So I was amazed myself when I came on social media. I saw people write stories. do screenshot and mock Shettima, and I begin to laugh. Is it the electorate that wants to change Nigeria compared to Nigeria?
Let me ask you. Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, did you listen to Shettima's speech?
Yes.
Did you see where he said he was going to be in charge of the economy? He was going to be in charge of security, in charge of the economy.
Yes.
Is that the normal thing, constitutionally normal?
Yes, it's a joint ticket, and to me, I saw it talking about division of labor to assign some duties to the vice president. It might be an agreement between and Asuwaju. Okay, if we come on board as the president and vice president, I will handle this, and you should handle this. So it does not really matter how it is done. What we are after as citizens of this country, we want a country that is working. We want our questions to be given answers to. So if really is it going with the constitution, it doesn't really matter. To me, what we want is the job needs to be done, and we want somebody to get the job done. So that is what matters.
Okay.
So that is the most important thing.
All right, thank you. Our colleague is saying it doesn't matter. Shettima can be in charge of security, and the presidential candidate can be in charge of economy, and this is a constitutional issue.
I think our people should spend more time studying the law. The drafters and crafters of the law are not stupid people. They thought it out and they allocated those responsibilities. But I just think we are belaboring the issue. We have already left the issue of the dressing of Shettima, but people keep bringing us back there. I want to repeat again that a man is addressed the way he is dressed. If girls are dressed in seductive and socially unacceptable ways, and we say it, when an adult dresses in a socially unacceptable way, we must also say it. It does not need to be seductive. If it is wrong, it is wrong. You must dress properly. You that is watching us from the house, tomorrow when you want to wear a suit, you must realize that your suit should be closer to your body than Shettima's. You must realize that when you sit down, your suit must be unbuttoned. There's no way to explain it. You can argue it from now to Kapachan. The truth is that there is a gap in dressing there, and that remains a fundamental point of discussion as of today. It's trending on Twitter. I'm not the only one on Twitter. It is not John Mayaki that is making it trend on Twitter. Nigerians are taking it and they are trending it on Twitter. So if your presidential candidate is acting in a certain way that does not agree, and again, he made the point that the other presidential candidate ought to dwell on what they want to do in Nigeria. Clearly, he has not watched the program. They also spent time discussing what they will do in Nigeria, what they did spend time.
All right, Idris, I'll be back to you. Let's pick this call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Johanna, and I'm calling from here.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I quite understand I quite understand what you're saying. But I also believe that everybody has his own way and manner that they want to dress. We cannot speak for Shettima. If he decides to dress the way he was putting on his own suit and his sneakers yesterday, I believe that's the best way he knew that he could have gone out. Everybody has their own sense of dressing. I see nothing wrong with his dressing for me. And if Zachary Jr. is saying that the dress sense of Shettima is not accepted by majority, I believe not everybody will definitely like the way you are dressed. Yeah, I don't know if you are getting it.
Yes.
So for me, I believe, and I want to state it categorically clear that not everybody will definitely like your coming out. So I think for me, if he's speaking, I believe he should have said, Zachary Jr. I didn't like the way the man was the way the man dressed yesterday. Not saying it in total, like the generality of everybody in Nigeria is not comfortable with the man's dressing.
Right.
And moreover, we are not even talking about the dressing. We are talking about the speech, the impact, what the man was able to accomplish yesterday. He came, he spoke, he was able to convince a majority of persons. Those are what we should be looking out for, not if he was properly dressed or not. But to me, I feel that the dressing was okay.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Idris, that dressing was the best dressing so far. No. That dressing was the best.
My brother that called in last, I think I agree with him all he has said, but I just want to quickly paint a scenario. I know maybe the next time he's going for a wedding or for an event, he should try and wear a pink suit and wear it to the event.
Okay, Idris, we'll be back. We'll be back to Idris. Let's watch that video on the Benin mortuary, which is being disputed. Let's watch that video and see. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Stephen. I'm calling from the local government in Edo State.
You need to speak louder, please.
Okay, so my point is, I mean, thinking that we are choosing to govern us, I did not supposed to be well dressed. That person was out of it. So why are APC people or some other person saying that is not supposed to be a subject of the day? It's not good. I mean, these are things we are supposed to be looking after. Okay, look at how somebody is dressed. And most of the time, when he's talking, he's always angry. We don't know why he's angry. I don't know. But I think this is my take, though I don't know what other person thinks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We appreciate those of you who called in. We'll be drawing the curtain here for the day's show. Idris Zakari, his unfortunate network is bad around you in Lagos. Hopefully we'll get it better in our next show. For those of you who called in, we want to appreciate you. We sincerely appreciate your concern. It's good we deepen this discussion as issues unfold in the country. As we come to the end of this show, we expect you to stay safe and don't be a tool in the hands of politicians. Don't allow any politician ask you to insult anybody. On your own, for your self-enlightened interest, don't insult anybody because of any politician. Even because of your parents, don't insult anybody. You see, you need to take it easy during this period. Take care of yourself and bye for now.